Hi, welcome back to Sideninehomestead. Sean, Jody. We're here to give you an update on our carnivore diet and kind of where we're at and some of the things that we've learned over the past few days. So today is day 23. I had to double check the number, and things are going very well. I'm going to show you how to make these amazing shotgun shells. We did the snake method with them too. So you have 2 layers of the briquettes on the bottom, one on the top. Look at those, they look amazing. Wonderful glaze on them, and they are the perfect snack.
All that bacon.
On the Weber kettle.
Delicious. All right, we'll see you back in 15.
Move that butter around a little bit, let that melt. So weight loss between us, of course, is our first goal. You know, we want to feel better, but we also want to lose weight. I'm down 13 pounds and Sean's down 16.3 pounds. So now here's the problem though. We were just talking about this, was clothing. Now, a lot of women out there can probably relate to me, where we don't buy the next size clothing. We'll just squeeze ourselves into that same size, and it hurts, it's uncomfortable. You know, we're just miserable in our clothes all the time. So it's been nice for me because now all my clothes fit, or some of them are getting a little bit big, but I haven't really had that problem. Sean, on the other hand, his clothes were already a little bit big, and now some of them are just not good.
Yeah, so I've probably lost a good 3 inches off my waist.
Yeah.
So yeah, my belt is on, when I stand up, my belt's on the last hole, but when I sit down, I gotta still just let it out one hoop, one hole. But yeah, so our clothes are getting big. I figured once we lose a little bit more weight, we're trying for our we're not trying. And when we get to our 30 days, we'll see where we are weight wise. We'll try to figure out what we want to do, when we want to buy some new clothes, because again, we're going to go at least 90 days. Well, I mean, not 90 days. I mean, we're going to stick to this new lifestyle forever.
Yeah.
It's just eventually we're going to introduce things back in. Nothing ever sugar related, and we'll talk through sugar and stuff in a bit. But the only thing we might introduce is like maybe wine.
Yeah,
And not a lot, just, you know,
we
on
like
Saturdays.
the really dry red wine, so it doesn't have a high carb and sugar count in it. So that's in our favor, at least. We're not usually like the sweet wine drinkers, so I think, you know, occasionally.
So what we're thinking, leave a comment below if you could please. What we're thinking is that maybe like on Saturdays only, every other Saturday, every Saturday, once a month Saturday, but we'll have our, what we like to call artisan night. And what we used to do is we used to come out here, listen to some music. We have lights that flash and stuff, and what we do is have some wine, and we would get a charcuterie platter. We'd have all kinds of little different meats and different cheeses, and that's what we would snack on. You know, that was a good time. So we're thinking we may do that on Saturdays, every other Saturday. But when we did do that, we also ate all kinds of crackers and all kinds of other stuff along with that was kind of artisan-y, kind of.
Yeah. We would find little, so the artisan thing, you know, if we would go to like any kind of little gourmet shop or even a different winery, you know, they always sell like little fancy crackers and little toasts and things, and we were suckers for all of those. And you know, you think, oh, I'm just having 3 of these crackers and 2 of these crackers, but it all adds up. So luckily now none of that's in the house. We did get rid of everything. So and we think, you know, if we go and did a night like that with the cheese and the meats, you know, there's no reason why we can't grill a steak to have with that as well, so that we're not overdoing the cheese, because that is one thing that we haven't really had. One time we had cheese since we started.
Slice of cheese on a smash burger.
Yeah, I mean, because so cheese for me is, I have a real hard time kind of limiting it, so I've been trying not to go there at all, but I think here and there, you know, we don't have burgers that often, so you know, to have a slice of cheese now and then would be okay. But I'm just trying not to have a ton of it in the house, because I'd be the type, while I'm trying to figure out what to eat, I'd eat like 3 pieces of cheese.
So, back to the artisan thing too. Like we like to go up to Canada and we visit Niagara on the Lakes and all those wineries, and a lot of those places do wine and meat pairing along with like chocolates and all kinds of food.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we like to think that we're foodies. Like we eat really good food. We don't go to chain restaurants.
Yeah,
Really, we don't.
We like higher quality food. We're willing to pay more money, I should say, for better quality food. I'd rather have a really good steak dinner. Even before we started this, like, he would laugh at me. It would be my birthday, and I'd pick, the most expensive steakhouse around, and I'd get the most expensive steak they had, because that was just like the primo meal to me when it was my birthday. So this has been kind of nice for me, because now I get steak all the time.
Yeah, so that's what we're thinking anyway. Just to move on.
But we'll see kind of, how things play out, but we're open to that.
Yeah, that's the only thing we're really considering bringing back that we used to eat and drink.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
No sugar.
I miss my coffee, but I have to say, it's not that I miss any of the caffeine, because I'm sleeping so well now, I don't need the caffeine. But I miss the taste. I do like coffee, so that's not that big of a deal. But if we go out to breakfast or something somewhere, I'm a sucker for crappy diner coffee. Like, I love it.
Okay, so
anyway, sorry, I
let's
digress.
talk about, like, we cleaned out the cupboards, we got rid of condiments and all that other stuff, the refrigerator, but we kept all of our spice rubs, everything.
Yes.
And then the other day we were looking at our spice rubs because, that's another thing we're going to add back in.
Yeah.
Is we're going to be very choosy on, because we're using salt and pepper right now. I mean, that's good.
And not even a lot of pepper, mostly salt.
And a lot of butter, a lot of Wagyu.
Yeah.
Tallow.
But we
tallow.
miss the seasonings. There's a lot of flavor you can impart on different things with seasonings. And I'm a sucker for a seasoning, especially any kind of spice rub blend. I mean, so when we say that we went through them, like, we went through what was in the house. I have bins of spices. Like, it's a problem. It's a real problem. I've spent so much money. Every time we're shopping somewhere, he has to guide me away, because he'll say, you have enough, and I'm like, but I don't have that one. So
the other day we kind of looked through them, right?
Yeah.
And what did you discover?
It was really sad, because a lot of my favorite ones that I use regularly, either on like ribs or roasts or anything, the first or second ingredients on them was sugar. Brown sugar, cane sugar, whatever. And some of it were on things that aren't sweet. Like, I have one that's honey something. Okay, so you expect that to be sweet. Like, I wasn't shocked that there was sugar in that one. But I have a prime rib rub that I think I got at Costco. And to look at it, you can see the big grains of salt, you can see the pepper, you can see the different spices that are in it. The second ingredient in it is sugar.
And it was a big container.
Yeah.
For because they put, it's in order by the amount of each ingredient. So the first one's the most, the last one's the least. So for the sugar to be the second one, and you didn't even see the sugar.
No, you couldn't see it, and you can't taste it. So that's what it was like. Really, kind of. I was really upset, because I feel like, okay, but again, it's my fault. I should read labels. That was definitely a lesson learned for me, that I need to pay attention to my labels. And you know what? I have every ingredient that was in any of those spice rubs. I already have. So there's no reason why I can't put together my own seasoning blends for different things. So that's our plan going forward. And we'll slowly introduce some of those spices, just to make sure that we don't have any kind of inflammatory response to them.
Yeah. So 23 days, we're still feeling good. All of those issues we talked about in the first video are pretty much still gone. Snoring is stopped. Aches and pains are pretty much gone. And like last video, they're riding their ATVs out there. So sorry about that loud engine roars. So what's sad is that our daughter, who's 19, she likes to buy those little yogurt drinks that are organic from Stonyfield.
Yeah, Stonyfield.
Yeah, so she has some stuff in the refrigerator, obviously. And I looked at the one, and there was 15 grams of sugar. And I asked her, I said, hey, Julia, did you see how much sugar's in these? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, there's 15 grams of sugar. You could either have that or a candy bar. She's like, what? It's organic. So she thought just because it was organic, it was healthy for you, without reading the ingredients.
Again, you have to read the labels.
And those are meant for kids.
Yeah.
That's just shocking to me. Those little yogurt, little things that you could just rip the top off and drink them, they're yogurt. They're meant for kids, and there's 15 grams of sugar in them. That's shocking.
And I was curious. I'm like, well, I wonder what that translates to in like teaspoons. And it was 4 grams equal a teaspoon. So there's like at least a little over 4 teaspoons of sugar in that little bottle.
Yeah, it's a little bottle. It's like one of those
the videos we've been watching, or person that we've been following on YouTube to learn more about the carnivore diet. And
I mean, there's a lot.
There's a ton out there. So before we started this, we actually started watching some of the videos because, you know, it is so far away from what conventional wisdom is as far as your health and nutrition goes. So we really wanted to look into that. And Dr. Ken Berry, he's probably our favorite. I think he's very down to earth. He is a family physician, but he also lives his life as a carnivore. And he's married, has a small child, and I think his wife kind of floats between keto and carnivore. But he's so knowledgeable, and he breaks it down to where you can really understand things and what things mean. So we've watched a lot of his videos lately and live streams. He does live streams, so you can send in questions to him, and he will answer your questions during the live streams. So that's nice too. And a lot of those questions are maybe things that you're thinking, but you just didn't know who to ask or embarrassed to ask. So it's nice to see all those questions that come in, because it's all everyone's kind of working towards the same goal.
And what's interesting with him, he always gets the questions that we and everybody else would want to ask. Well, you know, there's been a lot of FDA papers published that red meat causes heart disease and all this other stuff. And he breaks it down so nice. It does not, right? It absolutely does not. It's everything else you eat. It's the spice rubs you use with all the sugar. It's the organic yogurt that you think that's healthy, that's got 4.5 teaspoons of sugar in it. It's all the sugar. So we've even bought beef jerky, and, you know, on the cover it says no additives, no this, no that, you know, grass-fed, the whole 9 yards. So we bought a couple, and most of them are really good. And we looked at the ingredients, and like 1 out of the 4 bags we bought, one in the front looked perfect, you know, good carnivore diet snack, and you know, no additives, no nothing. But then if you turn it around, you read part of the ingredient was sugar, and we were like,
but what's the one thing that's also sneaky, that when you're looking at your labels, you can't just look at the nutrition section, like where it gives you the calories and fat and all that. You have to actually read the ingredients, because on all of those spice rubs that had sugar as the first or second ingredient, they all listed 0 carbs. So, you know, sugar is a carb, and that's where it falls when you look at those nutrition labels. So who knows what kind of crazy loopholes are out there as far as labeling and all that stuff goes. So ingredients trump numbers. So when you see on the ingredient list that it says sugar, there's sugar in it, even if your nutrition label says that there isn't.
That there's no carbs. Yeah, it's just crazy. So that's the big thing that we learned, is you got to read all your labels. So energy level. So 23 days into it, what would you say your energy level is? Okay, so before we go there, just to reiterate from last video, is that, you know, your body needs carbs, right? You need energy. You get energy from carbs, right? So we're not consuming any carbs. So the way that carnivores get their energy is from fat, right? Or from butter, or from, you know, whatever else some folks put in their diet. But we've been trying to stay really strict for at least the 30 days. So for us to have energy, we have to have red meat with a lot of fat. So we have to have a lot of ribeyes. We add a lot of the beef tallow, the Wagyu, to our steaks. When we warm up steaks, because we make a lot of food, we have a video with all the food that we made today.
Yeah.
You know, when we warm up a steak or something, we'll cut slices, and then when we put it in our air fryer, we'll put little pads of butter on each slice. Because without eating carbs, you have to have energy somehow, and the way we find it, and everybody else, is through fat, butter. You know, bacon's good, gives me a shot of energy. So if I'm feeling down during the day, you know, at work or whatnot, because I work from home, I'll just go grab a piece of bacon. And then within a few minutes, it gives me the energy I need to keep moving, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, energy-wise, I think I notice a difference in especially in my morning energy. Like, I feel like I kind of hit the ground running when I get to work. Like, there's none of that kind of like ease into your day. Like, the majority of people that are out there, you kind of ease into your day, you slowly have your coffee, you know, like it just kind of until like 9:30, and then you're kind of like, okay, I'm awake, I'm ready to start doing my work. And I get to work usually around 7 a.m. and I'm pretty much ready to go. Like, I start in on my reports and different things I have to do, and I find that I'm getting my work done faster, more efficient.
I don't usually sit still. Even when I was heavier and I was eating a lot of sugar products, and I was always, I mean, we have 22 acres. I probably cut it with riding mowers, but still, at least 4 acres. And, you know, we have the chickens, we have the gardens, I was building all these buildings. You know, there's a lot of maintenance, and I don't sit still. I'm always constantly moving. So once we started this diet, I mean, to be honest, my energy level went from 100 just because of the stuff that we were eating, probably down to 70.
Yeah, you were a little bit in those first few weeks, but I can see that you seem to be having more energy now.
I'm learning, yeah. So I'm having more energy just because I'm learning. Because there were days I went where I would just have some eggs, maybe some bacon, and that would be it. No red meat or not enough fat. So over the past week or two, I've learned as long as I can eat some steak a day with a lot of butter, you know, a good ribeye steak, you know, that brings my energy level up. So I think I'm doing a lot better now. Plus, I think I finally got all that sugar out of me. And maybe, you know, up till now, too, the inflammation was still sticking around. So that I feel a lot more better. I feel a lot better. And I have a lot more energy because there's just so much to do. I mean, I'm canning, I'm gardening. You know, we have the pool to take care of. We have all this stuff that we're doing, trying to get stuff done. We want to build a greenhouse. There's a lot of other projects, and we still have to finish the cookhouse that we are building over there. So yeah, so I'm feeling a lot better now that we've been on this a while and we're learning.
Yeah, I think it just takes time. Like, what works for me meal-wise isn't the same thing that works for him. And it's kind of been that way, actually, as long as we've known each other. He wakes up in the morning and he's hungry and he's ready to eat something. I'm not. So I don't eat. And especially now, because I don't really feel hungry very often. It's rare. So I usually don't eat at all until around noon. And then sometimes I'll have something after I get home from work, you know, if we're going to have something. I might just have something really small. But typically it's about 1 meal a day, maybe plus a little snack or something. And that works for me. Doesn't work for him.
So I have a meal in the morning because I got to get that energy. I'm a little bit tired in the morning just because of our new diet, right? And we're learning how to fix it. So I wake up, I'll have 2 eggs and some steak. Bam, I'm good the whole day, right? And lunch, I don't really eat lunch because I'm not hungry. I might have a piece of bacon. And then for dinner, you know, I'll have a couple slices of steak, maybe a piece of kibasi or something, but not much. Maybe we'll do a video on what we actually eat in a day.
Yeah.
You would laugh because, well, you probably wouldn't laugh because you don't know us. I mean, we went from eating quite a bit, like the normal, like not normal, but yeah, the normal American diet,
I mean,
right?
if we would go out to breakfast and I would get, you know, an omelet, and it would come with some potatoes and toast, I would pretty much eat probably the whole thing. 3 to 4 egg omelet plus whatever's in it, toast, and some potatoes.
Yeah, eggs, potatoes, and pancakes. Love pancakes and spaghetti. Those were my whole life. I've always loved pancakes and spaghetti.
So now, like yesterday, we woke up and we had breakfast, and
This morning we just had steak.
yeah, that's
We
all
cut up
had
a
this
bunch of
morning.
steak, made some thin cuts of steak, put them in a skillet, and put little butter pads on them. Just warmed it up just a little to melt the butter, and that's what we ate for breakfast. Yesterday morning we did the same thing, smaller amount of steak, but we had 2 eggs.
And that kept us full from like 8 a.m. when we ate until, what was it, like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We were finally like, I think we're hungry. It was like really weird because we were, you know, you hear about people say like, oh, I forgot to eat today. Well, like that's kind of like how it is. Like we were busy doing stuff and running here, running there, and next thing you know, we came back home and we were like, it's almost 2 o'clock and
Right?
we should probably eat something.
All right, so we're going to change course here. So we want to talk about routines, right? So when we first started this new way of life, right, we gave up everything, right? We gave up all of the bad foods. We gave up any type of drinking, any type of partying. We even canceled one of our short trips to the beach because, like, we would have left already today, actually, because we're like, if we went to the beach, because when we go to the beach, we like to go to all the restaurants, all the fun restaurants that are outside, and have drinks and snacks at this one. I mean, we have a video. You should watch it. It's pretty funny because we'll go from one outdoor party atmosphere to another one, and we would only have one drink, an appetizer, one drink, so we could kind of go all day. We were like, so we gave up like so much stuff between what we were eating, where we were going, what we were doing. So now we're finally getting into some routines.
Yeah, I think, and it's interesting because we were kind of already, I don't want to say like in a funk before we started this, but like kind of questioning like how we want to spend our time type of discussions. And one of the reasons why we bought this place was because we love being outside. We love nature. We like even just sitting out here in the backyard, hiking. We have great hiking trails and parks around here. Same with biking. There's so many bike trails here. We have a great lake that's, I don't know, a mile and a half down the road.
For
you
kayaking
can kayak,
and
you
stuff.
can swim or whatever. So now we feel like we have more time, and so
We actually started biking
We did.
and hiking.
yeah, albeit slow, but you know, we've kind of, I think we got away from that because we were so focused on doing things around here and things we needed to build and do and maintain and all this stuff. And so all the things that we loved about being up here, we kind of just pushed to the side. And now it's like, oh, you know, if we're, you know, whatever, if we're talking about what we're going to do for the day and we have no plan and it's a nice day, like, hey, why don't we let's go down to the bike path that's, you know, a mile down the road. So that's been really nice. I think we both have like getting back to some of those things that we really enjoy doing.
Yeah, because it wasn't just, you know, working around here, building all this stuff, taking care of everything, but it was like, hey, Jody's getting home at 4:30. I got to have the music playing. I got to have all the snacks out. So
Yeah, we did get away from like eating a typical meal. Like we would just, and you think like, oh, it's not so bad. I'm going to have a couple drinks and like, I'll eat popcorn for dinner. Like, how bad is that really for me? But when you do that enough and, you know, obviously not getting any nutrition either, you know, that's a problem. So I think this kind of just forced us to kind of reevaluate how we spend our time and what's important to us and how we like to live our day-to-day life.
Yeah, so we'll have to give the real story on where we live now and why we live where we live. That'll be another story. That'll be a personal story, because we've made quite a few changes over the years that, you know, have put us to where we are now. All right, any other topics before we end this? We don't want this to go too long.
We were just going to talk about some meal prep. But so typically Sundays is our kind of meal prep day. just to prep us for the week, for the work week. I need to be able to quickly throw a lunch together. So it's really nice because we cook a whole lot of different choices. So you don't get sick of eating the same thing. So like for tomorrow, I already packed my lunch, and I took like a third of a ribeye and a smoked chicken thigh, bone-in, skin-on chicken thigh. That'll be plenty for me.
And a stick of butter.
Well, the butter is not all for tomorrow. I take every week, I take 1 stick of butter to work and use it throughout
These
the week.
flies are making us itchy. They
they're
keep
horrible.
jumping on us.
So it's nice to have the butter. You know, I don't know. It's funny as you get it more into this way of living, you're skeptical of like any butter that you find anywhere else. You're like, is it really butter, or is it mixed with canola oil, or is it this, or is it margarine, and they're calling it butter. So I just bring my own stick. I have a little.
She brings her own salt.
I do. Now I've had that salt shaker in my purse for several years because I hate that white table salt in restaurants, and I have a real thing about touching some of the salt shakers. They're always sticky and it's gross. So I kept a little salt shaker in my purse. And now it's coming real handy because now, especially when I'm having my steak at work, and I can use my own salt.
All right, so let's wrap this up so it's not too long. Maybe we'll do a couple more shorter videos because we have other things we'd like to talk about too. But again, we like to thank Dr. Ken Berry and also Carrie at Homestead How. Please go see his channel because he's the one that I was following. Did you see that fly that tried to go in my mouth? He's the one that we were following. And it actually woke us up, and then he was talking about Dr. Ken Berry, so we watched him, and you know, we're one community. Let's just help each other get through this, and you know, leave good comments on other people's channels to give them praise, and you know, to keep them going and be motivated.
And everyone wants to live their healthiest, best life that you can, and so for us thus far, this seems like the golden ticket for us. I feel like it's effortless. You know, like most other eating plans or whatever that I've done over the years, I've had a little bit of success here and there, but it was a lot more work. Like where this is just easy.
It's easy, and we're
It's
eating
so
really
easy.
good food.
And if we did go out to eat, which we really haven't since we started,
Because
you
we're
know,
learning what we like. And
and like trying to be creative when you order in a restaurant. Like, okay, I can get the bacon cheeseburger without the bun. Just have that on the and
no mayonnaise,
you
no
don't
nothing.
eat a
Bacon,
lot, so it's not that big of a deal. Like just to think, oh, I'm just gonna have the patty. What? I'd be starving. Well, we wouldn't be, because that's plenty of.
And
food.
it's not just us. I think anybody with this lifestyle would not be hungry.
Yeah. So I think that's about it for today.
Yep.
Another week, and we'll hit our 30 days, and we'll try to do another update then, and kind of map out our progress.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you started, you know, go for it and leave comments below. We'd like to hear from you about, you know, anything. And please subscribe and like the video.
Yeah, we appreciate the support. Thanks so much.
Thank you.